battle for first place in the East region of the NWAC as Big Ben visits the Bigfoot of Spokane, Sasquatch, and Runnin' Vikes. 16-6 overall for Big Ben, 6-0 in conference. Ranked number 4 by the coaches in NWAC. Spokane ranked number 1, also 6-0 in conference play, 20-2 overall. Bud Namick along with Jeff Norton. And Jeff, this is going to be a fun basketball game.
Yeah, like I said during the girls' game, I think they're going to just forget about the whole jump ball situation. We'll just bring out a starter's pistol. We'll just fire the pistol and let them go. I hope that there will be a chance where I'll get to actually talk tonight. It'll be just a lot of play-by-play, I think. Maybe I'll find a pause where I can chime in.
The Vikes have won 7 consecutive games. Spokane has won 6. Spokane averaging 100 points per game. Big Bend is the second best shooting team in the conference at 50%, and they averaged almost 97 points a game.
Yeah, we've been joking here since we got here this afternoon about, what's the over-under going to be on this? And we've had people say 215, 220. Then we started talking about, well, geez, do we even need to turn the shot clock on? I actually think it's not going to get into the hundreds. I actually think that because they know the reputation of the other, and they know the stats. I mean, it's right there. Spokane scores 100 points. The Vikings almost do. I think that the defensive effort is going to get ratcheted up a notch by both teams, and I actually don't expect it to get into the hundreds.
They did play once earlier this year in North Idaho College Tournament. It was 85-85 at the end of regulation. Spokane ended up winning at 102-94, the final in overtime. And Jeff, one of the things that jumps out at me from that first game, Spokane with 23 converted free throws, 12 for Big Ben.
Yeah. What wouldn't surprise me, Bud, is if this thing comes down to who has the ball in the last possession. Wouldn't shock me if they go into overtime again. And things like free throw percentage, things like turnovers. We're going to talk about, I'm sure, three-point shooting. We're going to talk about scoring. We're going to talk about a lot of just crazy video game stats that these two teams are putting up. But it might be simple like free throw shooting, maybe an extra turnover or an extra rebound that might decide this game.
Turnovers were even last time. We'll see what happens this time around. Should be a good one. The Runnin' Vikes have made the trip from Moses Lake to Spokane to take on the Sasquatch, and we have it for you next right here on SWX. College basketball on SWX is brought to you by Noodle Express. Express yourself with signature dishes exclusively at Noodle Express. Call ahead, pick up, or dine in at Noodle Express. Going to be a heck of a ball game between these two. Jeff, the first time they met, Spokane managed a victory without one of their key players, Jake Love, the 6'3" sophomore out of West Valley.
Yeah, and he's the highlight player for this afternoon, and it's hard to pick somebody to highlight on this team. You could go Levi Taylor, you could go Race Martin, Dalton Patchen. I mean, there's a whole bunch of them. But the fact that Jake didn't play against them the first time might kind of make him a bit of the wild card factor. I also like Jake tonight because he's coming off a really good game last Wednesday, scored 23. He's in the top 20 in the NWAC in scoring, had 23 on Wednesday night, and I'm sure is real excited about getting into this game since he missed the first one.
Another guy who had 23, actually the first time these teams met was Riker Pierce, a 6'5" freshman, Rexburg, Idaho for the Vikes.
6'5" freshman on a sophomore-dominated roster. This is a very veteran, older group, and he's the freshman who's come in and is leading them. Number 9 in the NWAC and scoring at slightly over 20 points a game. Also averages nearly 5 rebounds a game. The 6'5" freshman is kind of a do-everything for him.
Let's take a look at the starting lineups. Mark Poth in a 28th year as the head coach of the Big Bend Running Vikes. In fact, on the opposite bench, Jeremy Groth in his 4th year for Spokane played for Mark Poth. They won an NWAC championship Jeremy's 2nd year. Keyshawn Liggins wears number 0, 6'5" freshman out of Middleton, Idaho, a 16-point-per-game scorer. Connor Meyerhofer is a sophomore, 6.5 points. Kind of does a little bit of everything, 4 rebounds, 2.5 assists per game. Moga Lotto is a 6'7" freshman out of Nampa, 15.5 points, 7 rebounds a game. We talked about Riker Pierce and J.J. Eli, a 6'1" freshman, Idaho Falls, 11.5 points, and guy who had a 20-point effort against Wenatchee Valley the other night.
Just like that girls roster that we talked about in Game 1, a real southern Idaho, Boise, Nampa area influence on this roster.
Good look at Mark Poth, again in that 28th year. He and Larry Walker at Everett, the deans of coaches in the NWAC conference.
Larry Walker, former Lewis and Clark high school coach. Been at Everett a while.
Take a look at the starting lineup for Spokane. Cage Sabota is a 6'2" sophomore out of Clarkson, wears number 3, averages 7.5 points a game. We talked about Jake Love and his 16 points a game. Jacob DeVries also averages 16 points a game, a sophomore out of Richland. Dalton Patchen is a 6'7" sophomore from Colton. He averages 13.5 points and almost 8 rebounds a game. And Race Martin, a 6'5" sophomore from Pullman, 13 points, 6 rebounds, and 2 assists per game. There's Jeremy Groth, 4th year, 78-36 the record. Brad Johnson, Chris Pinch, a couple of guys who played here are the assistant coaches. Jeremy at Curlew High School, the time he graduated, was the #1 scorer in Washington State high school basketball history, and still number 2.
Since been bumped to number 2. Prior to his stint as the head coach, he was also an assistant here for 4 years. So been around for 8 and doing a great job for the Sasquatch. A roster that's just loaded with tons and tons of local talent. Spokane and Inland Empire, they're guys that played in 4A classification and guys that played in the B classification just like he.
I was kind of laughing. We were out of practice the other day. They were running a rebound drill, and Jeremy was out at the 3-point line throwing it up, trying to get his guys to rebound, and he couldn't miss. It was just like the old days.
I didn't get a chance to see him in high school, but I've seen him at Hoop Fest. He doesn't miss in Hoop Fest.
He can do that. Hey, if you were with us for the start of the women's game earlier, we had the opportunity to hear Tech Sergeant Freddie Garza from McCord, Joint Base Lewis McCord, deliver the national anthem. He's done so at a number of different places, including Seahawk games, Mariner games, and we are going to get a double treat, an encore performance of the national anthem. Once again, Freddie Garza.
McCord Field in Tacoma. He has been a member of the Air Force since 2002. Earlier this year, he was invited to sing the national anthem prior to a Seahawks game in Seattle. If you could please rise and remove your hats as we honor America. Tech Sergeant Freddie Garza sings our national anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
Nice job by Freddie Garza, and we send our thanks to him and all the other veterans who are with us today for their service to our country. Big Bend 16-6, 6-0, and Spokane 20-2 and 6-0. There's Dr. Maury Ray, who was with us a little earlier, and Paul Ticker, a longtime fixture here as well at Community Colleges of Spokane. We're on the Spokane Falls campus. Games alternate between here and the Community College of Spokane gym. And we're ready for some basketball. And I did check, the scoreboard does have room for the single digit.
Does it go
to get to 100.
Does it go three
does.
digits? Okay.
Sometimes you go back to 0, but they're forward thinkers here in Spokane and the scoreboard.
They did turn the shot clock on. I think that's just perfunctory. But
first possession of the game goes to Big Bend. It will be quick. This is J.J. Eli.
I love the lime green uniforms and the fact that it says a running Vikes on the front.
Vikes.
They're just going to let you know right now.
Lotto can't convert the left hand, but got it and put it back up and in. Long line of Sabota, basketball playing Sabotas that have come out of the Lewiston-Clarkston area. First foul of the game.
Yeah, a couple of brothers playing with the Bantams right now. They might be the best high school basketball team on the east side of the state.
Is that right?
Barring, forget about classifications. The Bantams are very, very good. 16-0 after last night, and really haven't even been challenged by one close game against Pullman, but that's about it.
That's saying something. Is Central Valley out of the GSL ranked #1 in the state?
They are in the 4A, and the Bantams are ranked #1 in the 2A.
Pretty pass, and Race Martin, the recipient. Ties it up. Sabota with the steal. The officials calling the reach. Lotto's first foul, second already on the Vikings. They're going to set the tone, the men in stripes. Certainly don't want to see this turn into a free throw contest, though.
No, and I think they probably all put an extra pair of socks on before they came out here today, knowing that they're going to be running up and down too.
Trying to get it to Jake Love as he posts up inside, and Race Martin says, I'll just take care of the three since you fell down.
And I wonder if that's going to be an emphasis today, because Jake's very good three-point shooter, but also very accomplished on the block. Maybe Coach Gross sees some kind of a mismatch that he likes, and he wants to use Jake down on the low post a little bit more today.
Yeah, because you look at a guard who's 6'3", and you don't think post up automatically.
He's very strong though, and he's ambidextrous around the rim and very accomplished there.
Eli coming off a 20-point performance Wednesday night, misses there. Lotto very active on the glass. That three short, another opportunity for the Vikes. Patch in the steal. Love the run out. Very quickly, back the other way. Block charge. You make the call.
Yeah, that was a close one. I was looking right at it, but that easily could have gone either way.
Third turnover on the Vikings. Sabota being hounded defensively. Love unable to convert it after the nice drive. Martin picks up his first foul.
We've talked about the offense of both of these teams, Bud, but it's going to be real important that both of them defensively get back in transition and get ball stopped. They've got to find ball and they've got to recover the shooters. And that time Sasquatch didn't do such a great job.
Mogalato, 62% free throw shooter, gets that one. You know, one of the things of a good defensive player is to beat the offensive guy to the spot. Tough to do at this pace.
It is. At this pace, it's really tough, but you've got to make that effort and at least get ahead of the ball. Even if you can't get ahead of the player to get to the spot, you've got to make sure that you are always ahead of the ball.
Love it to get to the rim again, but misses. 7-4, Spokane leads it.
Second easy one that he's missed.
Nice little spin and bucket for Riker Pierce. I don't think the shot clock's down below 15
I haven't
yet.
even looked at it. It could probably be ignored.
Lotto very active, but Martin, a great job to come back with that one. He'll go to the free throw line. Eli thought he had all ball. All right, Coach, you put him on the bench already? That's his second foul.
Yeah, I think you have to. And I think you also see some frustration in his body language, too, that might need to just sit for a little bit. Doesn't have to be very long, but I think you got to bring him out, let him get some water, talk to him, encourage him, and just let him calm down just a smidge.
Spokane, a good free throw shooting team, and Race Martin converts at 81%.
He had a word with the official after that one, too, so another reason just to get him on the bench and so that conversation doesn't continue.
Wyatt Johnson in to replace Eli. And in for Spokane, a young man you're very familiar with, Levi Taylor.
Full disclosure, I'm a big Levi Taylor fan. Obviously played at Lewis and Clark and
played for you at Lewis
he
and Clark.
did play for me, and he has actually played Mario Kart in my house with my two daughters. So I have great fondness for him. I am so excited about his success here with the Sasquatch.
Leading scorer on this team coming off the bench. And that's what he does. He's just so quick on that first step when he gets to the rim.
It's the first step, and especially effective on the left-hand side of the floor. And he's so strong when he gets to the rim that he very rarely doesn't finish the play.
Riker Pierce the foul. That's 3 team fouls now on the Vikes.
The thing that Levi's really improved on since he left high school has been his shooting. He's shooting 43% from 3. That's way over what he used to be at.
Something to do with coaching?
Not at the high school level.
That's what I say.
You know Coach Groth.
Is he getting better coaching now?
Coach Groth is the 3-point shooting coach, not Coach Norton.
Taylor knocks down both free throws.
It's interesting, though, what has impressed the coaching staff about Levi more than anything has been his defensive play. And Coach Groth talked to us about how that's watching Levi in open gym, the way he defended was one of the first things that he saw that really attracted him to Levi. And that phrase right there, defense at open gym, isn't something that you hear very often.
Strong finish by Mogalato, as his coaches were wondering why there wasn't a foul call on his first attempt to score. Taylor tries that new 3-point shot, doesn't go. Is that a little makeup call?
Well, I was just going to say, I understand the need to set the tone here, and there's a lot of emotion out here on the floor this afternoon. But 7 fouls already might be a little excessive.
Garrett Hull checks in for Spokane. Also checking in A.J. Knutson, who's number 5. Spokane gets the turnover. Hull out of Ellensburg. Beautiful pass to Taylor. Quick 4 off the bench for Levi.
And we talked about a couple of possessions ago, Big Bend not being able to get back in, Spokane not being able to get back in defensive transition. And that time there were multiple options for Spokane because the team in green wasn't as enthusiastic about getting back on D.
A very fast pace, first 4 minutes and 29 seconds of this basketball game. Spokane on top, 13-10. You're watching college basketball on SWX. Spokane leading Big Bend 13-10, 15:31 to go in the first half. Time now to take a look at our Gus Johnson keys of the game, brought to you by Gus Johnson Ford. Jeff, we're seeing Jeremy Groth in the Sasquatch huddle. What's the #1 key to the game for Spokane?
You know, when we talked with Jeremy, we went out and visited practice on Tuesday. The thing that resonated with me is he talked about decision making, about how they really have to be smart. They have to be smart on the defensive end, knowing who they're guarding, knowing what the strength of that player is, and making good decisions defensively. And I'm sure that, you know, knowing when to gamble, knowing when not to gamble, knowing who's a good rebounder, knowing who's not, knowing really what your defensive assignment is going to be, and then executing that assignment. And then offensively, I think that it applies as well. Making good decisions on offense. We're going to see a whole bunch of points put up, but make sure we're taking good shots, that our shot selection is within with what we're trying to do. Nobody tries to do anything extraordinary just because it is a special event today. And for Big Bend, I think it's going to come down to Riker Pierce, and can he continue to do what he has been doing throughout the season and early in the Eastern Conference League division play.
It's off to a pretty good start. He's got 7 points after the 3 he just buried. And Levi Taylor, a quick 6 off the bench, and Spokane up by 4. Taylor with a good job that time to stop Liggins from being able to penetrate.
I'm kind of surprised that Levi is not on Riker Pierce. And that may change as we go through the game. Right now they've got Hull, the 2 freshmen going at it, actually.
Saw Meyerhofer nail that 3. He's 50% beyond the arc. It's very impressive. It's not like he hadn't taken many. He's now 24 of 47.
Yeah.
6 minutes into the game, Spokane with a 1-point advantage. Hull on Meyerhofer there. Back door. Ball will stay at the Viking end.
And those kinds of plays like that, Bud, you know, they build up after a while. Again, it's an offensive rebound. It's a turnover. It's an extra possession. It's an extra opportunity that you take advantage of. All of a sudden, you begin to build a lead, and it grows. And at the end of the game, the losing team wonders, why did we lose by 4? Why did we lose by 5? And you go back to some of those possessions that you didn't finish on the defensive end, or open shots that you didn't make on the offensive end.
Mark Poth not happy with the way his guys didn't stop ball. Let Garrett Hull go all the way to the basket that time. Lotto might have got away with shuffling those feet on his way to the basket, but he has 8 points. Lotto and Pierce have 15 of the 18 for the Vikes, the running Vikes. Opportunity for the Vikes after the Sasquatch go for the steal and can't convert it.
And that's a bad decision right there by Levi. In the open floor at half court to make that kind of a gamble, that it was really a high risk, low reward kind of a gamble. And it contributes to a basket for Big Bend on the other end.
Second lead of the game for Big Bend. Taylor trying to erase it, but can't. Here goes Liggins. Keyshawn's first bucket. These teams aren't disappointing in terms of the pace and the points being put on the board.
It's a whole bunch of fun.
Turnover. First by the Sasquatch. Liggins. Did he call glass?
He's pretending that he did. That is a tough angle to shoot off glass.
Big Bend opens a 7-point lead. Patchen converts. First bucket for the sophomore out of Colton.
And that's a really good offensive decision. As it's gone up and down, a lot of threes being taken. Make sure your big fella touches it on the block and get an easy lay-in.
Good effort to get his own rebound and put it back in for Wyatt Johnson. First game, Jeff, the women's game, a 10-point lead was a big lead. That will not be the case in this game. Is that a little different mentality for a coach in a wide-open game like this?
Well, I think like we talked about in the women's game, the guys on the floor are just not even paying attention to this scoreboard. They're just playing possession by possession. On the coaching end of it, you know that you can recover from 10 quite quickly. I mean, that's a 3-possession, that you can make up. So not a lot of panic, not a lot of stress should you get into a double-digit.
Much deserved breather. The big three off the glass by Liggins, 28-21. Big Bend with the lead, 11:08 to go. First half on SWX. Today's basketball presentation on SWX brought to you by Kimmel Athletic, your team sports specialist. Kimmel Athletic, proud sponsor of local sports. Bud Namick along with Jeff Norton, and those shoes are getting a workout up and down the court very quickly. 28-21 Big Bend lead. Spokane basketball, 11:08 to play, first half.
Speaking of shoes, I saw Coach Groth has his tennis shoes on today.
Coaches versus Cancer Weekend.
Versus Cancer Weekend. We saw a lot on the TV throughout the week and also today.
Nice conversion by Jake Love in traffic. That's one thing that is underrated, Jeff, the strength of a guard to be able to convert in traffic like that.
And that's what I was saying about Levi. That quick first step gets him there, but the ability and the strength to finish is a whole nother skill, a whole nother quality that he possesses, and certainly any guard that has that can be very, very, very dangerous.
Spokane changes the pace by going zone, and Leo Barron cleans up the garbage for the putback bucket. Freshman out of Pocatello. 7-point run and bike advantage.
I took a look at both huddles during the timeout there, and just a lot of, obviously they're ahead, but a lot of positive energy from Big Bend, guys slapping each other on the back, and a lot of smiles. And on the other end, down at the Sasquatch bench, it was very serious, very stern, almost some blank stares. They haven't had a lot of close games since Christmas. And a real important game that they had a lot of confidence coming into. A little shock to the system that they're down 7 here. They need to get rid of the blank stare, just go out and do what they do offensively and defensively.
DeVries to Sabota for 3, and he converts.
And that's one thing they can do.
38% beyond the arc as a team for Spokane. Trying to slow the pace a bit for a possession or two with the zone.
Yeah, he's going to stay in this. They've extended the zone out quite a ways so that there's some good ball pressure.
Jacob Vargas, 6'8" freshman out of Kennewick, who just checked in with that long rebound. Sabota unable to convert. Does Jeremy Groth have to go deeper on the bench in the post with Race Martin picking up too early?
I would think he's going to go deeper in the bench all day at every position with just the pace that they're going to play. Vargas, a good player, good freshman off a very successful Kennewick team last year that made a state tournament appearance.
Fall off the hand of Lago. That's the 5th turnover on the Vikes. A.J. Miles has checked in, a sophomore out of Pullman for Big Bend.
Former teammate of Race Martin.
Yeah.
Both contributed to a state championship for the Greyhounds.
Miscommunication there as Levi Taylor thought he had the opportunity for the little lob to Vargas. 2nd turnover on the Sasquatch.
That's really impressive, Bud, that the pace at which they're playing and yet they don't turn the ball over. You know, this is a whole bunch of fun, not just because we're seeing a bunch of points, but because these guys are good. These guys are very, very accomplished. Bunch of guys on the floor are going to get a chance to continue to play beyond community college.
Miles, a step back shot, no good. Opportunity for Spokane on the run. Foul called before the shot. A.J. Miles, the guilty party. That's team foul number 6 on Big Bend. Make it number 7, actually, so into the bonus situation.
We're seeing both teams come with subs. Just about every time there's a free throw, we're seeing a line change for both teams.
Race Martin comes back in with those 2 fouls. Eli went to the bench with 2 for the Vikes, is still there. DeVries unable to convert. Miles trying to find a gap in that zone. Let's see which way they rule. Keep it for the Vikings. Is there an opportunity to throw it up to the rim to Loda against his zone?
I would think so. Yeah, I would think that that'd be a good option, especially looking at the shot clock with only 6 to go here. That's a tough angle from where the ball's being inbounded, so that might have been the discouraging factor.
Shot clock violation, but Spokane had it anyway. Here they come. DeVries to Sabota. Martin and Loda battling for position, and they'll call it on Loda. Lotto, I should say. That's his 2nd, and 8 on Big Bend. On SWX. And a reminder that basketball coverage on SWX is being sponsored in part by the Swinging Doors. Free steak dinner on your birthday. Meet, eat, and have fun. These guys are having fun, Jeff. Both teams shooting it well.
Shooting it really well. The one that jumps off the page at me, though, the stat that jumps out for me, Bud, is the 7 offensive rebounds for Big Bend. I don't know how many points have come off of those 7, but that might be the 4 that's the difference right now in the game.
They watched their women's team play.
Yeah.
Race Martin will be at the free throw line. 2 for 2 on the afternoon. And remains perfect. He was the co-MVP of the Great Northern League his senior year at Pullman. Shared that honor with his teammate Jake Love from West Valley. Misses the free throw. Big Bend able to corral it. Leading by 3 are the Vikes. Deep 3 by Miles, short.
Good ball movement by Big Bend, and they're not going to shy away from the distance of the 3. Spokane with an extra opportunity. 2 extra opportunities. Great play by Cade Sabota.
He has 5.
Fine ball, though, on defense.
1-point game. Perimeter play by the Vikes. Nobody in the center of the
they've gone
lane at all.
Gone 5 out. Since Lotto went to the bench, they've played without a post.
Opened up some room for Riker Pierce to drive it to the basket that time.
Might be where Race Martin really is going to get a chance to shine here in the next couple of minutes. They're really trying to help down. Backside wing is really trying to help down on the post. Careless.
Liggins.
That's a careless pass. That's a careless turnover. That's an offensive turnover, not something that was created by the defense.
Sabota short on the 3. 6 minutes left in the first half. Riker unable to convert. Still 20 on the shot clock. Meyerhofer. Couple of threes for the sophomore.
Defensively, if they're going to play 5 out like that, Spokane has really got to emphasize keeping the ball in front. If they're going to allow dribble penetration like that and have to help then on the ball to stop penetration and not let it go to the rim, you're going to leave shooters wide open all over the place. So they've really got to emphasize on defensive ball pressure, keeping it in front of you and not letting it get into a gap.
That was Leo Barron who came up close and personal. Dalton Patchen, a 75% free throw shooter.
Dalton also a member of a state championship team at Colton.
Let's see if we can get a picture of the socks that Keyshawn Liggins has on right there. You don't see those socks on the basketball court too often.
They match his shoes. He's got the same pattern on his shoes too.
Might goof up the camera to get a close-up of it, though.
We will describe that as paint splatter.
There you go.
Matching shoes and socks.
6-point lead for the Runnin' Vikes. Their biggest margin has been 8. But again, as Jeff and I talked, a 6-8-point lead in this game can be erased in a hurry.
Yeah, you can get rid of that in 60 seconds.
And Riker Pierce can score in a hurry. He's got a dozen.
And you can also increase your lead in about 60 seconds by 8 points.
9-point advantage, Big Bend.
Still would like to see a post touch the ball here with Big Bend having a smaller lineup in right now. But instead, Race steps back instead of stepping in.
Spokane won neutral court matchup in overtime against Big Bend earlier in the year, 102-94. Pierce, the charge. Martin did a good job holding his ground.
Boy, that was really a risky play. Good play by Race Martin, but risky. That could have easily been his third foul.
Riker Pierce out of Rexburg, Idaho, shooting 52% from the floor, 43% beyond the arc.
Yeah, that's an easy call, though.
Yep.
Good defensive position. But again, the ball's getting penetrated into the key, where now the post is having to step over and make that play. Got to do a better job of keeping the ball on the perimeter and not letting it get penetrated.
See what happens here with Spokane down by 9. Pierce has to go to the bench with a second foul.
Jake Love struggling just a little bit. That's about the third effort around the rim that he's missed.
Meyerhofer out to Barron, the straight up three. Love hangs on to the rebound. Here's Garrett Hall. Heck of an athlete at Ellensburg High School.
Yeah,
Love.
multi-sport guy. Football, basketball, baseball player.
I think he was MVP of the league in all of them.
Yeah, I think you're right. Relative of former Coach Clint Hull.
Leo Barron's second bucket. Oh, just got a friend. Bigfoot came to join that.
Extra commentator here. He had some insight. I don't speak Sasquatch, though. I'm not sure what the insight is.
Score more points.
Score more points. Get stops, make shots.
A.J. Miles unable to get the three.
We've seen
11-point Big Bend lead.
much better emphasis by Big Bend in defensive transition. That one right there, you could tell there was just a real sense of purpose on them getting back to stop ball. I love that high-low action, though. Race Martin needs to put some points up on the board here while Big Bend has continues to have the small lineup in.
Three of their big guns. Mogalato, Riker Pierce, J.J. Eli on the bench with 2 fouls each, and they're maintaining a lead.
Yeah, and Spokane's come in with fresh legs. Levi's come back in. Hall's come in with fresh legs.
If you're Jeremy Groth, obviously you'd rather have the lead at the half, but you're down 9 right now. What's comfortable to be down at the half?
You're not comfortable unless you're ahead. I mean, and even if you're ahead, you're often not comfortable.
A block called as the Sasquatch thought they had a turnover, but it won't happen. 2:30 to go, first half, 9-point lead for Big Bend. You're watching NWAC basketball on SWX. Big Bend leading at 42-33. We switch our attention from basketball to football. Tune in to SWX this Wednesday morning as we'll help the Eastern Washington football team celebrate National Signing Day. It'll start at 7, February 3rd. We'll hear from head coach Bo Baldwin and other Eastern coaches. Find out who all the new Eagles will be. National Signing Day for the Eastern Washington Eagles. Wednesday morning live on SWX, your home for local sports.
Now we saw in the girls' game, Bud, the last minute of that first half really turned that game. In fact, it was the last 30 seconds I thought really turned that game. Let's see if that happens here in the final 2 minutes of this game. I'm surprised that Big Bend has continued to stay small with their lineup, but we'll see if that's effective for them here in the last couple minutes.
Got a 12-point lead. Cut it down to 9 as Hull is able to get the 3. Big Bend coaches weren't happy. They wanted the charge on Levi Taylor after the pass. Wyatt Johnson from Victor, Idaho, fouled by A.J. Knudsen, Central Valley High School graduate. His team won a big game last night in GSL play over Lewis and Clark.
Yeah, after a loss against Shadle, I told somebody the bear got poked, meaning the CV Bears, because they came out with some extra enthusiasm last night, and especially defensively. Played very well, beat the Tigers in Squinty Hunter Fieldhouse.
Minute 40 remaining in the half. Big Bend up 45-36. And converting is Riley Bruneel inside, freshman out of Boise. Too easy that time.
That's way too easy. We talked about smart decisions defensively, and Jake Love made a real bad decision that time.
Patchen was open on the post, but I'm not sure Levi had a real good passing angle to him. You're right. Jake Love struggling a little bit. Nice pass. And one.
And again, it's breaking the defense down off the dribble penetration. They're emphasizing getting out and passing lanes, which was a drill we saw them do on Tuesday at practice. They're really getting out in hard denial on passing lanes, and that's making it very difficult to rotate and help when the ball does get penetrated. I still would like to see them just get off just a little bit more gap off of the dribbler, take that angle away, take that gap away that allows that penetration into the middle.
Riley Bruneel's giving him a little spark off the bench with 5 quick points. Taylor, is that a charge or a hook? Yes, it is. Hooked the elbow on the hip, and a concerned Jeremy Groth sees his team down 14. That hasn't happened much this year.
I don't know that it's, obviously they have 2 losses, but since Christmas, I don't think it's happened ever.
And in their own gym. Spokane will get the final possession if things play out of the half. Maybe not if they score quickly. Bad decision on the break?
Yeah, that was actually, I thought that was a really good job defensively. He bluffed at him and then dropped, and bad angle on the other side. I didn't see who the wing was that was trailing the play, but that was not a good angle that was coming in.
So the running Vikes will have the final opportunity, up 14 with 6 seconds left in the half. Ligon's going to try to do it himself and kick out, wide open Barron. Great execution by the Vikings to end the half, and Leo Barron has 10 after he buries the 3. 53-36, our score at intermission. Spokane stunned as they go to the locker room. We'll see if they can rebound starting out the second half. Halftime with the Vikes up big over the Sasquatch. Today's halftime report brought to you by Fasteners of Washington, Idaho, and Montana. Got bolts? Well, we expected a lot of points to be scored, Jeff, but I think we thought it'd be a little more balanced. How about a 17-point advantage for Big Bend at intermission, 53-36.
Yeah, and we saw a final possession in this men's game, Bud, just like we saw in the women's game. In the women's game, we saw the Sasquatch score right at the buzzer, and that propelled them into a really positive first 5 minutes of the third quarter, and I fear that might be the case here with the men's game. This first 5 minutes as they come out, Spokane's just going to have to forget about that bucket. They're going to have to forget about all the mistakes, and there were many of them in the first half, and they got to right the ship, or the green team, Big Bend, is going to come out and use that to propel them to victory.
Spokane only made 3 of their last 13 shots in this half. They were shooting 56% at one point, now down to 42% at intermission. And Big Bend is at 54% shooting. They made 21 of 39, so they've made 9 of their last 15. They've also knocked in 8 3-pointers in this game. In
a game where a whole bunch of points are being scored, I'm going to emphasize a defensive stat, Bud, and that's the fact that Big Bend is getting a stop. Now, sometimes that's just a missed open shot. We've seen Jake Love miss 3 just bunnies right near the rim. But Big Bend's getting a stop on 85% of the Sasquatch offensive possessions. That's a pretty good number. Spokane, on the other hand, is only getting a stop on 55% of the possessions. And so Spokane's going to have to, A, make sure they convert easy opportunities, and B, they're going to have to, I just can't emphasize enough, they got to find a way to take away dribble penetration from Big Bend.
And Spokane getting that stop on 55% of the possessions, as you mentioned, but giving up 8 offensive rebounds, which leads to more possessions and skews that that percentage a little bit.
Yeah, exactly. I'm sure Coach Groth is inside just trying to take all of this information, all of this data, and just distill it and just make it really simple for him. And like I talked about at the very beginning, it's about decision-making on the defensive end, decision-making on the offensive end. I thought there were some bad shots taken. I thought there were some bad decisions made offensively. Get back to what they do. They got a whole bunch of people that can contribute. It doesn't have to be any one guy. Find where a mismatch is, and I think it's Race Martin. I think they got to go to Race Martin a little bit more than what they did, and just start chipping away at this lead, which, like we've mentioned before, isn't going to take much time at all to get this back down to an even score.
All right, good time for a little halftime snack or maybe a little knitting. It might be a little cool later. Might need that stocking cap. 53-36, Big Bend with the lead over Spokane at intermission. And we will see some more points scored in the second half, no doubt. See if Spokane can close the gap. More halftime festivities coming up on SWX. Big Ben trying to make a statement here at Spokane Falls Community College, leading the Community College of Spokane 53-36 over the Bigfoot at halftime. It's been balanced scoring for Big Ben. Riker Pierce with a dozen, Leo Barron with 10, and Moga Lotto with 8. Lotto didn't play a lot, picked up 2 fouls. Pierce sat out the final 4:21 of the half with a second foul. His team was up 9 when he went to the bench. They lead by 17 at intermission. They did the majority of the work with those 3 main guys on the bench. Race Martin with 10 to lead Spokane. We'll see if Spokane has a couple of runs in him to get back in this one. 53-36. Moses Lake has the Big Ben from Moses Lake has the lead on Spokane. It's halftime on SWX. College basketball coverage on SWX brought to you by Noodle Express. Express yourself with signature dishes exclusively at Noodle Express. Call ahead, pick up, or dine in at Noodle Express. 53-36. Big Bend Community College with the lead over community colleges of Spokane. Sasquatch coming in at 20-2, ranked number 1 in the region by the coaches. The Vikes 16-6. Ranked number 4 by the coaches. Each team 6-0. Jeff, somebody gets the hammer and stays in first place. And right now, Big Bend with a big opportunity.
Yeah, we see the poll there. Spokane with 6 of the first place votes. Big Bend there at number 4. I'm interested to see, Bud, as they come out, if Big Bend will stay with that smaller lineup that they used to finish off the first half. Honestly, I was a little skeptical, but it worked very well for him. So we'll see if Lotto comes out in the starting lineup here, or if they stay smaller with that 5-out perimeter dribble drive offense that they were using there to finish up the first half.
Yeah, really spread out Spokane's defense, and they were able to get that dribble penetration that breaks a defense down.
Yeah, and Spokane didn't handle it very good. Conversely, for Spokane, I'd like to see Race Martin come down and get involved right away with multiple touches on the block. Again, especially if Big Bend stays with that smaller lineup, Race should just have a field day down there inside.
Jeremy Groth trying to get his guys going. You saw Mark Poth a moment ago. 20 minutes of basketball left, and Spokane has to make up a 17-point deficit. And they'll have to do it on the defensive end.
Yeah, they got to get stops. They can't give up another 53 in this second half, because I just don't see them scoring enough to make up that difference. They got to have stops on the defensive end, and I think it's got to start with ball pressure and taking away dribble penetration by anybody in a lime green uniform.
Moga, Lotto, Riker, Pierce, J.J. Eli, 2 fouls each for Big Bend. Race Martin, 2 for Spokane. He played a lot of the half, first half with 2 fouls. Now, I was watching Jake Love, who struggled shooting in that first half. I watched him during warm-ups. He was struggling then.
Yeah.
And if you don't make them when no one's guarding you, it's tough to have confidence when the game's being played.
Yeah, and he could still be valuable out here for him, but he just – if it's not going to be his night, and Wednesday it was, that's okay. Then let's get Dalton Patchen more involved. Let's get Cage Sabota more involved. Jake DeVries needs to be bigger than he was. They've got a lot of options. There's Jake right there. Knock that down. Yeah, good skip by Cage Sabota. It doesn't have to be Jake Love scoring 23 or 28.
Pretty pass. Eli, but Loda can't convert with Martin defending, and Race gets the rebound.
And that's exactly the kind of start that Coach Groth wanted, to get a bucket and then a stop.
And another 3.
And another 3. And as we mentioned, you're going to make up a lot of points really quickly when you play offense like that.
Martin leads the Bigfoot with 13 points.
Good job there by Jake DeVries, taking away penetration. Got the bucket, but he took away dribble penetration and forced that 3 to be taken from 25, 26 feet away that time.
First basket for JJ. Jake Love. Wouldn't have counted had it gone anyway. You know, here's an opportunity. As you say, get healthy at the free throw line, but it's a common foul, so he's not going to get that.
I think that was on the floor. Yeah, that's a good call.
Sometimes, as you said earlier, you can get to the free throw line and get one with nobody guarding you. It makes things feel a lot better.
It just takes the lid off. It just the visual of watching it go through the net can make all the difference in the world.
Connor Meyerhofer's first foul, second team. This will put Dalton Patchen to the stripe. He made 2 in the first half. Sasquatch, a good free throw shooting team, 76%. Just a good shooting team, period.
And this might help Dalton now increase his offensive production a little bit. He could easily be the guy on the block, not just Race Martin. Could be Dalton easily on the block, who's going to.
He just didn't get many touches in the first
didn't.
half.
No, he really didn't.
Eli splits the defense and goes all the way to the rack. Lotto losing control of the ball and his feet. I
like the spark from Jacob DeVries here early. Knocked down a shot in the corner, He's got a rebound already. He's been good defensively on the dribble penetration. They just have so many weapons.
Nice. From Martin to Patchen. And a quick timeout, and I think a good timeout by Mark Post.
That's a really good decision.
Squatch have cut it to 10, 56-46. Still a lot of basketball to be played. 18-12 remaining in the basketball game in Spokane on SWX. A 10-3 run by that team in white has cut the gap to 10, 56-46 in favor of Big Bend. Jeff, we talked about how Spokane struggled to put the ball in the hoop at the end of the half, the last 7-8 minutes, 3 for 3 to start the second half.
Yeah, that'll cure some ill. And in lots of different varieties too. Some easy ones around the rim and some deep ones from the arc also.
Mark Poth with the timeout, but elected not to go back to that smaller lineup. See what they can do on offense here.
Yeah, we'll see how long he stays with it. It was just really effective at the end of the first half, and
wanted to go back door, but wasn't there. Martin picks up his third foul.
I thought that was pretty good defense. Pretty good job on ball pressure there.
Yeah, the ball pressure was good. I think he came down with the arms a little bit at the end, and that's the frustration. Yeah, see that left arm came down, and they'll get you every time.
Yep, that's right there in front of a referee, and that's the problem with the interior play. What goes on is happening just inches away from a referee most of the time.
Out of Nampa, Mogalato gets them both. He's got 10. Third member of the Vikes in double figures, but we pretty much expected everybody to be in double figures by the time this is over. A little, maybe too unselfish that time by Dalton.
Yeah, Dalton's got to go up with that one right away. Good job by Jake Love, defensive transition, really good job.
Turnover number 7 of the game for the Vikes, first of this half. Both teams have taken pretty good care of the ball considering the pace this game has been played at.
And we mentioned that in the first half, how impressive that is with the number of possessions that they're turning over for each other. They're not turning the ball over even though they're accumulating a lot of possessions.
DeVries gets all the way to the bucket. He has 7. It's a 10-point game.
The second half MVP so far.
Yeah. Nice move by Eli, but he can't finish it.
Cage Sabota with those really long arms. He gets a lot of rebounds.
There's your guy again, Jeff.
Yeah. I'd find him again next time down. He can get warmed up and he can be unstoppable. And he can go deep too. He can take it 27, 28 feet deep and still knock it down.
Got 10 this half. Or 10 in the ball game, 7 this half. 8 of them this half, excuse me. A couple threes. Meyerhofer elects not to take the 3 that they were hitting in the first half.
Yeah, now see, that was again, that was a bad defensive decision. Jake Love came over to help, and he didn't need to. He needed to stay on shooter, and they got the ball reversed around for an open shot.
DeVries left open again, this time no good. 10-point lead, favor of Big Bend, but they led by 17 at the break. Patch and sits. Levi Taylor comes in. A little smaller lineup now for Spokane.
Yeah, Spokane going to be a little bit smaller now.
Perhaps you heard in the background they're going to run the Boise play here.
They got some guys from the Boise area, so they probably know it. Just a simple baseline flex cut.
Like with Pierce unable to convert. He had a dozen in the first half. Oh boy, that's a tough night for Love.
Yeah, great penetration.
Pierce missing what might have been a dagger for Moses, for Big Bend. Heartbreak, and Pierce follows it up. He's got 14. 15 and a half to go, 12-point lead for Big Bend.
That was a big change of possessions there. The missed lay-in by Jake Love, and then the extra opportunities down here in the bucket for Big Bend.
Love gets bailed out by the foul when he was forcing it inside. We've got a break. Big Bend leads Spokane by a dozen, but free throws coming for Spokane. 15-19 left to play in the basketball game. It's an entertaining one. Great to have you with us on SWX. Today's basketball coverage on SWX being brought to you by Northwest Seed and Pet, Spokane's complete seed and pet supply. Going to be heading there to get the lawn in shape pretty soon. 63-51, Big Bend with the lead. That foul was called on the floor. Again, I thought we were going to see Jake Love get a chance to get to the free throw line and try to get things straightened out. But the officials said no. Jeremy Groth was arguing with him during the break, but to no avail. Keyshawn Liggins picks up his second foul.
Good idea. He came from the far backside to double the post, and Race didn't see him at all. And that was a good decision defensively because there was no way Race was going to find the open Sasquatch player to skip the ball to him.
Liggins will sit down for a minute as Wyatt Johnson comes back in. Levi Taylor's been quiet offensively as the three's knocked down by A.J. Knutson, his first basket of the game. Taylor made an impact offensively right when he came in off the bench in the first half, but then quieted down and hasn't been able to get anything rolling here second half yet. We're 5 minutes in.
And this is an end of the floor where Levi, bad decision there, but the defensive end is a place where he can make an influence as well.
Garrett Holt to Taylor. DeVries, who's been the hot guy in the second half, has the ball now left wing. In traffic, charge. Now the old days, that would have been a bucket, and then the charge, but they changed the rule this year.
Right.
First turnover of the half.
I'm not so sure though. Coach Gross arguing he was in the circle, and I think he might be right. That was, we couldn't see on the replay, but I think he was practically under the rim. Yeah, he did get out. He did just barely get out.
But by doing so, his feet were still moving almost at the contact.
Yep.
Which normally that goes the other way.
Right.
Ooh, missed the backdoor chance to Pierce there. That is just a difficult thing to be an official. Bang, bang.
Yeah, toughest call on the court, no doubt. A lot of elements of it. You got to make sure he's out of the circle. Is he squared up? You know, did he slide under after the shooter takes off? I wondered that too, if maybe he had already taken off the ground before he slid underneath him. That then should be a block.
Speaking of blocks, Knudsen with a block shot, but can't corral it. 3 on the shot clock.
And as you mentioned earlier, Bud, this might be a lob for number 5 here. Nope.
They're going to keep the ball on the Viking end, but they only have 1 second left now. Don't have a lot of time in practice to devote to converting plays like this.
You don't practice this, no.
Got a shot off though.
Yeah, didn't hit the iron. No, the only thing you can do is in the offensive set that you're going to run, what is the quickest option that you can go to?
See if Spokane can take advantage, get the lead down to single digits.
Big mismatch over here, Race Martin. Nope, they got adjusted.
Levi Taylor might have got away with a little extra step, but that Euro step, I guess, is legal these days, isn't it? Before it was a Euro step, we used to call it the State B shuffle. Saw that one in the old Boone Street barn a time or two. Free throws coming for the Vikings. Hull, second foul.
Spokane has started switching more of those perimeter screens, whether it's away from the ball or a dribble handoff. I don't know if that's an adjustment that Coach Groth made at halftime or if they're just naturally doing it, but it seems to have helped them keep the ball out of the middle. It's forced the ball out to the perimeter instead of that first half we saw it getting into the paint area.
Leo Barron, who had 10 points, including a couple of big threes, comes back in for the Vikes. Johnson, an 82% free throw shooter, converts both. 13.5 to go in the ball game. Spokane still down 11, but they were down 17 at the break. Love tied up, and they're going to call the foul. Well, I thought that was pretty good defense.
That was really good defense. It's the second time this half that Jake's been bailed out with a really close call. Yeah, that's pretty good defense there.
Love calling for the ball inside.
Trying to post up Levi, which is a good idea.
Race Martin can't convert. Love the rebound.
And again, multiple ways where he can be effective. It doesn't always have to be scoring.
Taylor got to the rim, couldn't finish. And the foul on Spokane. Knudsen's second. 4th team foul on Spokane. Dalton Patchen returns. Race Martin will get a breather.
Pace of play has slowed down, but it's become a little bit more of a half-court set game here in the second half. Part of that has to do with the number of whistles. 9 fouls already. We just haven't seen nearly as many transition opportunities for either team.
Nice weak side defense by Patchen as he gets the steal.
As soon as I say that, then Spokane gets a good one here.
Garrett Hull. Great hustle by Dalton Patchen to keep it alive, and Taylor's going to the free throw line. Could be number 3 on Lotto. Nope. Second on Wyatt Johnson. We're going to end up seeing a lot of free throws in this game, though. Next foul on Big Ben puts Spokane in the bonus, and won't be too much longer before the Vikings are shooting free throws.
And that's a lot of time still left in the half to be in the bonus, too. Exactly what Spokane needs. Needs to score with the clock dead.
Levi now 3 of 3 at the stripe. Left LC to play a little football at Central Washington, and now back to the basketball court.
Back to Spokane, back to hometown, I think was what was important for him. Equally accomplished football and basketball player at LC. He was the last, 5-second call. Oh, I don't know.
Oh,
I don't know.
Jeremy Groth complaining. I think there was a player who did call the timeout.
Well, if it was a player on the floor, I didn't see it or hear it, and that's
67-58. We'll sort it out. Big Bend leading Spokane, 12-17 to go. College basketball on SWX.
Yeah, right here you're going to see number 12, and he's calling a timeout, but it's not, I don't see an official down here. There must be one, though. You can tell up by the ball the official is still counting at the ball, so there had to have been one of the officials down here below
corner,
by
yeah.
the corner that we just can't see. So, good call.
16 left on the shot clock as they inbound. 9-point advantage, Big Bend, led by 17 at the break. That was not a good backdoor pass. Taylor. Good idea.
Yeah, I think it's a good idea.
Tough execution.
I think Spokane wants to pick this pace up a little bit.
That's a turnover and showtime.
This helps Spokane right now. I think in the first half it helped Big Bend, but this pace right now I think suits Spokane better.
And the crowd trying to be a little bit of a factor too. Riker Pierce fouled by Knudsen.
That's really good defense, but I was just about to say, well, he's a very accomplished freshman. He's got a nice skill set that makes him real valuable lots of different ways offensively. I don't know, pretty good defense though.
He got ball and might have got the arm on the follow through. Jeremy Groth heated right now. He's not happy.
He's not been happy about the last 3 or 4 minutes. And I think he's had a good argument a couple times.
Pierce 84% from the stripe, and he clanks that one off the rim. Liggins back Barron to sit down. $15 now for Pierce, who averages 20 a game. 11:20 to go. Love trying to get untracked.
There you go. And just like that, Bud, we're down to a 2-possession game.
Spokane doing a much better job closing out. Jeff on
Flying
the
around.
three-point shooter
Yeah,
in the corner.
flying around. I mean, that basket that we saw that ended the first half, there was nobody that closed out to the shooter, and now we're flying around a little bit better.
Pierce the follow after missing once. He has 17 now.
Second chance points, though.
Pierce steals it from Taylor. Eli to the rim. Probably should have had a free throw to go with it. Quickly a 10-point advantage for Big Bend again.
Yeah, right back on top, double digits. It'll be interesting to see if Jake DeBreeze comes back into this game here soon.
Jake Love, 2 in a row.
just like Levi we were talking about, he's got a great first step and he's strong enough to finish at the rim.
There's a reason you're a coach. DeVries and Martin are at the scorer's table.
Yeah, I mean, it was certainly a well-deserved rest, but he's got to get back in there.
What a block by Dalton Patchen, and the run out for Levi Taylor. That was a big-time block.
Came from the weak side,
yeah.
too.
Lotto tried to use the rim as
yeah.
he went under, but Dalton said, nah.
And that's, again, poor defensive decision making. Levi allows the easy penetration, and then Dalton doesn't block out and allows the offensive putback.
Nice. Patchen to Love. And the pace has gone Spokane's way all of a sudden.
Yeah, the pace is good and the offense has been outstanding, but the defense has still got to have more possessions like this.
Levi do that at LC a couple of times?
I've seen that a time or two. That's an awesome backdoor cut, but even better than that was the pass to get it there to him. Because you had to get it there so they could still elevate and get to the rim without going underneath the rim.
Love an 89% free throw shooter this thing. Riker Pierce, 3. Air ball. Wow.
Good closeout, that's why.
Charge on Sabota. Ooh, they called the block. Nope.
Yeah.
The run official out high.
Yeah, they
went to the block. I think that was a good call.
That was a good call.
Nine minutes to go and a 6-point ball game. We said it was going to be entertaining.
It has been.
Certainly has been.
It has been.
Eli got Sabota in the air and the foul. I thought he got him early, even before the shot, not so much on the shot. Take a look.
Got him there too. Got him good on the shot too.
Got his money's worth. That's 2 on Sabota.
I don't remember Cage taking a break in the first half, so this will be interesting here for a few minutes. Who's going to run the show?
Love able to get to the rim. Timeout called by Jeremy Grove. His team down 7, 77-70. The pace has certainly picked up with 8:35 remaining in the basketball game.
After multiple misses of this very same kind, he's had 3 in a row now finish getting back on track.
That's and 2 of them have been over Loda.
Yeah.
They were challenged pretty well. Look at the former curler high school star who played for Mark Poth at Big Bend.
This is a good timeout by Coach Groth, and I think the emphasis here is defensive. They were outstanding for about a 6-minute spurt, and now the last couple of minutes, last couple of possessions, I think they've made some bad decisions defensively. Got to get back to being better decision makers and just being solid without so much risk.
Spokane now shooting 51% from the floor, 49% for Big Bend. Big Bend still sizable margin on the glass, 37-21, and 14 offensive rebounds. Eli. He's getting the air ball champ, but he did touch a little bit of net. Saw the net nestle, but yeah.
Again, another bad decision defensively, though. Hull tried to go under the screen thinking that he was going to come out the other side, and he stopped and took a wide open 3.
See if DeVries is a factor offensively now. Going to go back to Love.
Yeah, that's a good mismatch for Jake. Yeah, I come back to that all day.
He's got 14 now.
As long as Meyerhofer is going to guard him, I just keep coming back to that.
Big Ben resets the half court. Liggins the drive and the kick.
Good job there by A.J. Knutson defensively.
A charge on Loda. Turns the ball back to Spokane. The deficit now 5. It was 17 at intermission. Let's see if the Bigfoot can charge back into this game on SWX. Tonight's basketball coverage on SWX brought to you by Gus Johnson Ford, proud local sponsor of sports on SWX. We've got a great 7 minutes and 34 seconds of basketball remaining to be played, and who knows, maybe more after that. These teams played overtime the first time.
Yep, the first time they played, it had a little extra time, a little extra entertainment.
Martin, Knutson, DeVries, Love, and Hull on the court for Spokane.
I would like a special set here for DeVries, bud.
He's got it, gonna drive it. Can't convert the three. Love keeps it alive though. Moga Loda, Keyshawn Liggins, JJ Eli, Riker Pierce, Connor Meyerhofer for the Vikings. Vikings led virtually the entire way in this game. Pierce, 19 points in this game. Big Ben coaches asking for some defense. 7-point advantage for the running Vikes. Love has definitely warmed up.
Couple of lay-ins, couple of good power dribble lay-ins leads to a little confidence, and now he's knocking down threes.
See if the Vikes have an answer. Eli inside. Nestles it in.
Just not enough sense of urgency on this end, bud. I don't understand it. They're playing very well offensively, but there's still a couple of stops behind.
Knutson, no go. Loda's done a wonderful job on the glass.
He has. You know, we were talking about whether he would even start the second half, and I don't think he's come out.
Eli for three, he's got 13. Martin, challenged by Lotto. 3 in a row that have not gone for Knutson beyond the arc. DeVries will be going to the free throw line. Bigfoot in the bonus.
Yeah,
Eli's
that's
third.
3 really good looks for AJ, and typically that goes down. All of them or some of them go down for him, but he's going to get a sub for Levi coming in now, and Race Martin get a quick break.
Dalton Patchen back in, 84-75. Spokane's made runs, got within 5, but Big Ben has a little answer every time. Free throw missed on the front end of the one-on-one, and that's costly. Sometimes, Jeff, you're behind like that, you spend so much energy trying to get caught up, it's tough to get over the top of the hill.
Yeah, and we talked at the very beginning, before this game even started, but we talked about the fact that it might be a couple of free throws here that determine the game. Might be a couple of free throws or one turnover or an offensive rebound.
About the third air ball 3 put up by the Vikes this half. Taylor will try one and nestles it home. 17 for Levi. He had 26 last time these teams got together.
Riker Pierce getting an earful there about a lack of defensive effort.
Garrett Hull the pick. It's almost one of those where you could argue for an intentional foul as Jeremy Grove
Yeah,
is.
and I don't know if the thought went through his head. That is a smart foul by JJ, and I don't know if that went through his head, but it ended up being fortuitous.
It's 4th foul on Eli, though. Hull's a 72% free thrower. .443 to go. One out of 2 for Garrett. Spokane looking for the stop. Second on Dalton Patchen.
Dalton's getting an earful now from Coach Grove about stepping up on that screen. He let the ball turn the corner, and then he's behind the play. He almost caught up to it and got the block shot, but he's got to step up harder on the screen, flatten the ball out. Can't let it turn the corner.
Eli 2 of 2 from the stripe. Freshman out of Idaho Falls. Went to Skyline High School. Gets them both. 7-point advantage. Big Ben. Looking for Patchen low. Got a mismatch. Takes care of business with a 3 instead.
Yeah, they were trying to set up a double for Jake DeVries, and it just didn't material. It broke down on the opposite side. Levi just took advantage of the broken play.
Nice pass from Eli to Meyerhofer. Eli's been able to break the defense down off the dribble again this half. Late. Pierce loses the handle going up. They'll get it back with 9 on the shot clock. Teams will have a chance to talk about it on the bench for a moment. 3:55 left in an exciting one between Big Bend and Spokane on SWX. Every week during the high school basketball season, we choose, or you can choose, the Kimmel Athletic Highlight Play of the Week. Check out all the highlights on Northwest Preps Now on SWX. To vote for your favorite play, go to nwprepsnow.com throughout the week, and the winning play will be announced on Friday during the 6 p.m. Sportscast on KHQ. Remember to vote for the Kimmel Highlight of the Week, nwprepsnow.com.
All the high schools playing tonight. Special bonus 3-game weekend. 3-game week.
Spokane gets a huge turnover. Under 4 to play, 4-point game. Big Ben was threatening to blow it open with a 17-point lead at the half. This man with the ball. Mr. DeVries helped bring Spokane back early in the half. Levi Taylor called for the charge.
Now, I thought Levi did a good job of turning his body to avoid the contact. I'd love to see the replay here. Defense was clearly outside of the circle, but not a real solid contact in the chest of the defender, which you're kind of looking for as the official.
Mark that one down, could be big with Spokane down 4. Liggins, the pretty drive, he's got a dozen. They quit the battle out high between A.J. Miles and Jake Love.
Oh, Dalton Patchen wide open and they missed him.
Kept that foot down. Can't convert though. And Lotto, another big board. Big 3 by Riker Pierce.
That's a huge bucket.
Up 9 now with 2:25 to play.
Spokane can't have too many more empty possessions. In fact, they can't afford any empty possessions now if we get under 2 minutes here.
Taylor will try the 3 from the corner. Oh, he's hit some big ones. He has 23 now.
Yeah, and he's now the one with the hot hand. I'm surprised that they're helping off of him. There's nobody within 20 feet of him.
Garrett Hull gets the assist. Taylor with 23 now. 3 threes recently. He has been a shooting star. 6-point deficit, 2:07 to go. What are you talking about in the huddle at this point, Jeff?
Well, if you're Spokane, you're still down 2 stops. You know, and you gotta build stops on top of stops. You can't trade baskets with them anymore. You got to make sure that you're, again, back to what we said at the very beginning, making good decisions on defense, making sure that everybody's matched up, making sure you know who to help off of and who not to help off of, making sure that you everybody's blocking out. You can't give them any extra chances. You can't let them extend possessions. And I think that's what this whole timeout is about. I'd be surprised if he's talking anything offense. Offense is taking care of itself. They're scoring, got all kinds of guys involved. DeVries has been involved, Levi's been involved, Race Martin's back in the game. I don't think that's going to be the issue. I think it's going to be down here to make sure that they get a stop, a score, build with another stop. And obviously Big Ben is talking about just the opposite. They want to make sure that they get something to the rim. Don't have an empty possession. Get something to the rim, even if that means in penetration and then they go to the foul line, because everybody's going to shoot double bonus now the rest of the way.
Both teams have about a month of regular season basketball left. Top 4 teams from each region advance to the tournament. And both of these teams will be there. Liggins the kick to Eli. In and out.
And Sage, not a great decision by Cage there to drop down and help. He needed to stay with Shooter and kind of got lucky.
DeVries was hot a while ago, unable to convert that one. Minute 40 left. 2 possession lead for the Vikings who have the ball. Lotto gonna go to work on Race Martin. A.J. Miles hadn't made one all day. Knocks that one in.
And again, DeVries helped down on the post, and you're leaving an open shooter then.
DeVries tries another. Can't answer. Big rebound, Liggins. The glass has been a big factor in this game, and the Vikings have an advantage on the glass and on the scoreboard. 2-pointer for Pierce. He has 24.
That might be the dagger.
Yeah, 11-point lead, under a minute to go. Somebody's winning streak was going to fall by the wayside. It looks like it's going to be Spokane's. Mark Poth telling his guys to use time, spread out. Spokane not going to foul.
No, it looks like Coach Gross going to concede it. Let him dribble it away.
There will be another battle. Liggins the off balance 2, and it doesn't go. Taylor able to snatch it, but not enough time. That's going to be it.
Very entertaining. Again, I'm not shocked that they didn't reach the 100-point mark. They're going to play again. You know, four teams from the East will advance into the tournament. They're going to play again and into the playoffs, I would imagine.
Heck of a ball game, and Big Bend will have a nicer bus ride back to Moses Lake. Keyshawn Liggins making sure we know all about that. Time now to announce tonight's player of the game, sponsored by Fasteners of Washington, Idaho, and Montana. Got bolts. Riker Pierce, the 6'5 freshman out of Rexburg, Idaho, finishes with 24 points, 12 in the first half, 12 in the second half, including, Jeff, what I thought was a huge 3 from the corner that really became the dagger and gave the Vikes an unsurmountable lead.
Yeah, also, as all of the Vikings did, very influential on the glass, defensively, getting his hands on a lot of balls. He's got some length to him. Plays both ends, not just the offensive end.
We don't have final numbers, but the glass was a huge factor in this one, and that guy was a big part of it.
Yep.
Moga Lotto did a very nice job corralling some very key rebounds for Big Bend Community College. And let's see, Lotto finished with 12 rebounds in this basketball game and 12 points. So he finishes with a double-double, and it was a 45-26 rebound advantage for the Vikes.
Yep.
15 of those on the offensive end.
Yeah, definitely a huge contributing factor. I thought, though, as Spokane made a run and got back into it and got down to where they're just a couple of possessions behind, thought they made some bad decisions defensively, allowed Big Bend to execute and score in some ways that maybe they could have made it a little bit tougher for them. And just got too much into just trading baskets and hoping for a miss by Big Bend instead of creating that miss on the defensive end.
Now give Big Bend credit. Keyshawn Liggins and his teammates were able to withstand some good runs by Spokane, and give Spokane credit to come back the way they did. As you said, these teams will meet again, not in the regular season, but they will continue to battle, and it'll be interesting to see what happens once we get into the tournament. They will meet, February 27th.
One more regular season,
and then possibly down the road.
It's actually the last regular season match, yeah. And then no doubt they're going to face each other again in the playoff. A little different format to the tournament this year, where it will start with first round play at home sites instead of everything going to the Tri-Cities. And then the tournament after that first round is going to move to Everett this year.
So on the season, they've each won one.
There you go. There you go. With many more to come.
Yeah. No doubt. Jeff, thanks much. It was fun.
Thank you, bud. Good stuff.
Thank our whole gang for bringing you the pictures as Spokane wins the women's matchup, and Big Bend gets the men's victory 96-87 today at Spokane Falls Community College. For all of us at SWX, thanks so much for joining us. Have a wonderful night. We'll have more basketball for you to come right here on SWX.